Each and every single case that lands on my table is a person that needs justice. What keeps me going is desire to serve and, making a difference in other people's lives. It's not only a case docket or a brown paper that is sitting in front of you, but it's a human being that is represented in that matter.
Warrant Officer Tlala John Mokoena is one of Gauteng's top serial rapist catchers. In his 18 years of service in the South African police, he has nabbed 27 serial rapists. His office wall is covered with newspaper clippings displaying some of the most horrific crimes ever committed in our country, cases he has successfully cracked.
I knew that I wanted to stop this guy from doing this thing to the young children.
His wall starts all the way back in 2008 with his first big case, a serial killer.
I'm reminded of one particular case whereby there was a serial killer in Orange Farms that was killing ladies. So we never knew who it was, but only to find out later on that it was the boyfriend to these ladies that was killing them, and they were scattered in different areas at Orange Farms. So cracking that case, it was very exciting because it was my very first big case that I was working on.
It's this headline that has him back in the news recently.
We went to about 50 subcontractors in Ekurhuleni with over 1,000 employees. It was never an easy investigation. We had a lot of sleepless nights.
Nkosinathi Phakathi, a serial rapist who haunted residents in several townships in the east of Johannesburg.
This guy was going to raping in 4 different policing precincts. So you'll have your Patfontein, your Etwa, your Crystal Park, your Davidton. Those are big areas. So this guy, we did not know whether he's going to hit in Patfontein, whether he's going to hit in Etwa, of which those are big areas. But we had to get his proper profile that, okay, on which days, on Mondays, normally we have cases, so many cases, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and these are the areas that we mostly frequent. So we needed to get more boots on the ground. We even use SADF to assist us in terms of creating a map, a geographical map, and coordinates where this guy was operating from. So consistency, that is one thing that helped us because we were there on almost each and every single day. During 2017, it was established that there was a high number of rapes that were reported in the Ekurhuleni area. So one of my colleagues that was working on that matter had to move and go and work somewhere else. So those cases were allocated to me. So upon those cases being allocated to me, we made a task team that is going to work on this case. That involved a criminologist, a clinical psychologist, people that are working in the private security firms, those that assisted us with the drones, because this was no ordinary investigation that we were faced with, because this guy already by 2017 there were about 40 cases that already were on on the SAPS radar.
Count number 94, compelled rape, Q sentence to life imprisonment in terms of section 51 subsection 1 of Act 105 of 1997.
This guy was very meticulous in terms of getting the background of the victims that he was going to rape, because he would use firstly he would say that he was repairing leaking roofs or faulty geysers, faulty meters, or faulty electric meters. He would say that, no, I'm coming to fix those things. And it will be exactly what the family needed. Whatever he said, whichever house he approached, he already knew that they had that challenge. We've got 61 cases that happened in the homes out of 115 victims. So others, he will approach these victims in their homes, and he will even find parents inside the homes. but he would speak and lie to them and say maybe perhaps, because like one of the modus operandi says that he was working for the municipality. Maybe perhaps there's going to install in the RDPs, install the geyser or maybe repair that leaking roof or whatsoever. So the parents, sometimes they would say that, I don't want to go there, I'm currently busy with 1, 2, 3. And he would say, no, please give me your child, because like our buggy, our transport is on the other street. So the parents will let this guy, because he will be wearing an Ekuruleni, municipality overalls. So, and he will be having what's this thing? A paper that shows, that has the logo of the municipality. So they will believe that he's a genuine person that is working at the municipality. So he will lure these children with that thing, and they will accompany him as if they are going to the vehicle of the municipality. Only to find out when they get to the other streets, he now changes. He holds the children, he takes them to the field, the open field, and rapes them.
Phakathi would be on the road from as early as 4 a.m., preying on his victims, walking through the streets, hanging around school gates, and even coming into their homes, displaying himself as a trusted municipal employee.
Using a criminologist became one deciding factor in this matter, because remember, this suspect was raping children that were 9 years, 10 years, 11 years, 12 years. So they did not give us proper description of the suspect. So all we can rely on is those statements coming from those victims. So a criminologist will create a profile in terms of how this guy looks like, because we never had a picture, we never had a face, we never had an identity number, the name whatsoever. So a criminologist will help us in terms of creating this profile, and a clinical psychologist, even themselves, will think how this guy thinks, how this guy commits his crime, the days, the times.
In 2019, Mokoena says Phakathi's dangerous spree peaked. He took advantage of the regulations put in place to protect citizens during the COVID-19 pandemic.
This guy would go and approach these families, or this, let me say, the kids that were going to school. And whenever he sees children will be working in groups, then whenever he meets maybe 3 girls working together, he would target the one that is not wearing a mask and tell them that the police is going to arrest you. You need to go back at home so that and collect a mask. And when one child returns home, he would follow that child so that he can go and rape them. On the part of the elderly, even during COVID, he would approach families, and when he gets there, he tells them about the food parcels. That there's a truck that is waiting near ShopRite that is giving old people food parcels. So as and when these old ladies, they live with their children, he will say that no, they are not going to give you because of this child. So you need to leave the child at home so that it's only adults that they are there. As soon as an adult leaves the home towards they're going to collect that supposedly food parcel, he would go back to that house and rape the child inside the house.
The task was indeed tough, and with each passing day, a child or a woman's life was at risk. While Mokoena and his team had carefully studied the rapist's modus operandi, which started in the early hours of the morning, they too had to start each day earlier than usual, following his patterns. But more needed to be done.
SAPS had invested in me, I think it was 2019, yes, it was 2019, and they sent me to China to go and learn the criminal investigation technology. So to come and use the drones, because I've never used a drone in terms of tracing a serial rapist before, but in this matter I had to. But now other unconventional method that we used, we had to go to the municipalities. And we processed about 500 employees, because he was in his modus operandi, he would say that he was working for the municipality. So we had to go and check for those ones that were fitting his profile. So we had to obtain DNA for their DNA. We were watching over 19 schools, and we had to have huge manpower. Even crime intelligence was involved to be our ear in the streets. And other method that we used was going to the clinics because they believe that he had a scar because of he fought with one particular victim. So we had to go and check if ever he went there to get some treatment of some sort.
9 years on the run, between 2012 and 2021, Phakathi had committed 115 rapes, 68 of which were children and 34 elderly women. Police had collected DNA and statements from all victims. His run came to an end in March of 2021 when he unknowingly approached one of his victims.
He did not recognize this little girl. So this he used that rapport that he normally used, building the rapport with the child as and when he gets them so that he can go and rape them. But fortunately, this time she was wise. She knew now that this guy, how he operates, because like he said that he heard the voice of this guy and recognized this is the guy that raped me, because he was wearing those masks that could cover your face, mouth and neck, and he was wearing a cap, but the voice she recognized. Then she informed the granny later on, because like this guy, when he tried to build a rapport, he says that, no, I'm going to school this child. Then later on, the grandmother contacted me and informed me that this guy was in the area again today. So I knew from the modus operandi that he would come the previous day, build a rapport. If he don't rape the child, he will come again the following day, because he now knew where the child stays, who else is there inside the house, who the child is staying, and where the child is going to school, because he would ask such questions so that he can establish everything that he needed, a profile of this child. So they called me, and after calling me, informing me about his presence in that area, I knew that he was coming. I assembled the task team that I was working with so that we can be in the area the following day. Then on the 17th of March 2021, immediately after the victim showed me where he had seen the guy, I parked my car on the side. And as I parked the car, I immediately saw from a few meters, 100 meters or so, that this is the guy, actually, the description that I've been given by the victim. Immediately when he locked eyes, it was as if he knew me. He turned left to the other street, then chasing suit, then we got into the area up until we found him. The very first thing that he said, without me even saying anything, he said, Ngibulale, which is loosely translated like, kill me.
Phakathi pleaded guilty to all charges against him, but gave the court the most ridiculous explanation.
Yes, he pleaded guilty, and he pleaded guilty only because we've got overwhelming evidence against him, because we already had DNA against him that he was raping kids as young as 9. So there was no way that you could say it's consensual, because literally you cannot have a 9-year-old sleeping with somebody that is almost 40 years old. So firstly, he started by saying that there was a voice that was speaking to him, telling him that he needs to wake up and go elsewhere. Then when he, along the way, because like he said that he would wake up each and every single day at 4 o'clock, walking along the street. Then whenever he meets these women, he says that he will, this voice will tell them to get this woman or little child so that he can rape her. And that's how it all unfolded in all the cases.
Count number 41.
And just like that, Phakathi's years of terror were ended with the court handing down a punishment of 42 life sentences.
Count 112 rape, accused sentenced to life imprisonment in terms of Section 51, subsection 1 of Act 105 of 1997.
We look firstly at the victims, whether their hopes were restored, whether they've received justice, whether there is healing for them. If ever they are happy with the sentence, then I'm quite comfortable, because it's not about me. I should not make this thing as if it's all about Mokoena. No, it's about somebody that has been perpetrated, somebody that has been victimized.
Count 118, life imprisonment. That's 118 rape, accused sentenced to life imprisonment in terms of Section 51, subsection 1 of Act 105 of 1997.
I was very excited. I knew now that power was exchanging hands, because now he had power throughout the terror that he was exhibiting on these victims as well as the community. Now it was the victims now that were now in power. Because like if ever they see that this guy, they knew that he has now been found guilty, now he's going to go for life, possibly for life. So that feeling, it's unexplainable. It was beyond I was beyond excited. I would like to say extremely happy.
Okay.
Mokoena says what has kept him going in his job is simple: the commitment to serve and protect.
My hope is to see each and every single woman feeling safe and secure, and even the children feeling safe and secure within the environment that they live in, being able to walk wherever they want to walk, anytime they want to walk. So we as men, we ought to be protectors, not abusers. So that is one thing that I envision.
With South Africa's high gender-based violence cases, Mokoena says he and his team are determined to take the bull by the horns.
We've learned to overcome all the challenges that we have, most especially, working with small children that cannot properly articulate themselves as to what actually happened, to those that do not understand whether they've been raped or what. But I think the clinical psychologists that we've been provided for by the subs, that actually helps us in terms of obtaining statements from children. Those are the ones that give us basically challenges, but at least we've got a way of overcoming those.
Mokoena says he also takes advantage of all the socio-social support available to him at the South African Police Service. He leans on God and gospel music, all helping him through the traumas he's exposed to.
You have to have a good family support and structure for us in terms of investigating these kind of cases. At least my wife would always wake up even in the evening and pray over me regarding this case, because I would wake up at 3:30 each and every single day so that I can be in that area around 5:30 in the area where this guy was operating in. So even my kids, whenever they were blessing food, instead of them only saying, "Father, we thank you for the food that is been provided for by you," they will even pray that, "Father, please help our father to arrest this guy so that all the victims in this matter can have justice." So it was one of those things that the family assisted me, in fact, carrying me with prayer.
And some advice for new cops.
One of the great qualities that you ought to have when working this kind of cases, you have to have compassion, and dedication, because you're going to work beyond the call of duty almost every week. So you need to have even patience and understanding that these people have been perpetrated. One of the great qualities that God has blessed me with is time, because these people, they need time, they need a ear to listen. So those young ones that are coming up, the constables that are still coming up within the ranks, they need to learn from the seniors, and we need to, as seniors, to give them mentorship to ensure that we build their character, because even character will sustain you in this environment, because you're dealing with people that have been hurt deeply. So you need to ensure that the very first thing, you take these people for counseling, so that you restore them to almost where they were.
Mokwena's wall is also decorated with certificates that he has been awarded for his exceptional dedication and service.
Talking about, when we work, you have a desire to protect and serve. That is basically the most important thing that we have. And being rewarded, the sub-recognition strategy, it's one of those things that motivates us as employees when you get recognized. Remember, in 2019, I was the Laureate Award winner. And in 3 years consecutively, I won the National Commissioner's Award. So actually, whenever you get these accolades, I mean, it's more like, it's like petrol to your car that takes you somewhere. Because like you move from a point of of being an average investigator, and you now get to be recognized around that this guy is indeed doing something. And that recognition, I mean, is one of the best feeling that one can ever have.
Sadly, Phakati's crimes have left more than 100 victims with lasting scars.
It was October 2016. I was 14 years old. I was doing grade 9, and it was the school holidays. I had just came back from the shop from buying bread, and it was around 7:30, and I bumped into this man at the gate. Just being glad that I didn't die in that sport, because it was way far from home. I think that's the only thing that's keeping me going, being glad that I didn't die. My brain blocked almost everything out, because the only thing that I can remember was waking up and running for my life. Because at some point it felt like I was having a nightmare.
In all her bravery, the young woman faced her rapist in court.
It was scary because I remember seeing him and I had goosebumps all over my body. And there was a time where we took a break, and then he looked at me in my eyes, and my body just shattered. I couldn't control myself, and I just, oh, sorry. It was a very scary moment, because he looked at me like he wasn't even remorseful about the things that he did to a 14-year-old.
Despite being dealt with a difficult start at life, the now 22-year-old is living every day with courage, celebrating each victory, big and small.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult talking about it, because it's something that happened to me, and even though I try as hard as I can to tell myself that I've healed, the fact that it happened, it stays in my body. The trauma stays in my body. Each and every time I talk about it, it's definitely going to feel like I'm reliving everything that happened at the time. So the only thing I'm proud of is that I can talk about it without crying right now. To get out of the township. To make a good life for myself and my siblings. There's a lot that I want to achieve for myself, and I'm so happy that regardless of the past traumas that I've faced, I am still standing, and I have a degree, pursuing my second one. And yeah, I feel good and proud of myself.
She's grateful for the police's dedication in pursuit of justice. While she says she'll never feel completely free, having him locked up has brought her peace.
Yeah, I commend their job, because when we saw them at the trial, they told us that they were working tirelessly to find this person. And even though when they caught him, he got shot on the leg, which led to it being amputated, it still shows how much or how dedicated they were to their job in helping us as I don't want to say victims, I'd say survivors, to get justice, and it finally prevailed. So I'd really like to say thank you to Mr. Tlala Mokoena and his colleague.
Anthropology, the study of people, and through studying the stories of others, she is determined to write her own.
I'd like to say to the other survivors that life didn't end there, and there's always a chance to change your life and heal and be whoever you want to be. We shouldn't let whatever that happened to us define who we are going to be in the future. There's a lot that we can change about our lives, and I'm an example of that.
Mokoena's dedication is inspiring. Each clipping on his wall reflects a commitment to justice. His work has empowered survivors to reclaim their lives. It also highlights the need for more men in blue like Mokoena in South Africa. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Zikhona Tshona in Johannesburg.